If you're a videographer, photographer, or creative business owner looking to just get your time back or boost your revenue, this is the podcast for you. And I had the privilege of introducing Jesse today. He is a videographer based in Claremore, Oklahoma. And Jesse kind of gives a breakdown of who you are and what your creative business niche is.
Yeah, so like you said, my name is Jesse, and I am a wedding videographer mainly. I've done all types of videography. I've been blessed to do a bunch of different things, but wedding videography has probably been like my number one thing getting started into the videography business. It just kind of came across YouTube during COVID, and it was like, I actually remember trying it. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is too hard. I started researching all the the programming and editing. I'm like, yeah. But then came back around to it. So, but yeah, I've done weddings. I filmed some real estate stuff. I've done some interviews, professional interviews, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mainly my niche is weddings.
Okay. Yeah. And I would say that that's probably my niche. That's kind of how I got started. So my wife and I, we got married in 2021, and we just saw that like a lot of brides and grooms don't understand they need a videographer until after. And it's like, you can't go back, you know? And so, when you're getting into the wedding videography space, there's all kinds of ways you can market yourself. I like Facebook groups. That's been really great for me. But one thing I'd like us to go over right now that's really prominent is the wedding wire and the knot.
Yes.
So I noticed when, I was Googling whatever, I saw that you had wedding wire, the knot in the past, or you currently have it. Can you kind of walk us through what your experience was and if you'd recommend it?
Yeah. So just being blunt, my experience with the wedding wire and the knot wasn't a great one.
Yeah.
However, I do have a friend that is a videographer who most of his bookings actually come through them.
Okay.
For some reason.
Yeah.
But, I did it for a whole year, not to book one wedding with the wedding wire, the knot, which, that's like, $2,000 down the drain, really, if you look at it. And like I said, that was like kind of starting off too. So that was like before I was really even kind of like, booking weddings or made a name for myself. So, paying that monthly thing, you get all these notifications all the time, and you thought, oh, I have another person. You'll message them and nothing. There's no response.
Yeah.
I'm maybe have gotten like 2 emails back within like the year that I've done it. But from my personal experience, I had a friend in Amarillo who she said she did it and she didn't get anything out of it. I'm like, oh, well, that's probably because it's Amarillo. So I went ahead and I didn't have a great return.
Yeah.
But like I said, I do have a friend who he says like most of his clients find him through.
So I went through a phase where I was like hardcore debating it. I was like, should I do it? Because it's an investment, and there were 2 red flags for me. So the first one, you don't get pricing up front. So you go to their website, it'll say, inquire with us, contact us, whatever. And to go along with that red flag, I actually know a local wedding venue here that they inquired with a knot wedding wire, and basically they had a talk. They quoted them a lot of money. I won't say like the numbers and stuff, but it was a lot. And the venue came back the venue I know went back to them and said, hey, we just can't afford this. Like, we can't do this. And they literally like took the price from that. It was a lot, and they cut it by like, 60 to 75%. And it's like, well, why couldn't you charge that in the first place?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's a super big red flag. I just think that their pricing needs to be up front. And I understand like maybe having different prices for different types of vendors. Like, venues are this price, videographers are this price, photographers are this price, but not being upfront with that is a red flag to me. And the other thing that is talked about a lot is if the leads you get are fake, which it makes sense. Like, if you own a site like Wedding Wire or The Knot, you know that if people aren't getting leads, they're going to like not use you anymore. So, if they want to keep you, they're going to do something like that.
And it's also set up to where you have to like sign a year contract, which is also one of the things that I didn't like. Like, I think I would have been more, which I pay for it anyway, but that was like my biggest thing. I'm like, well, obviously I talked myself into it because I'm like, okay, this is going to help my business. However, I'm like, they should offer, honestly, like it should be like a 6-month offer to
Yeah.
see if you even like it.
Yeah.
Because after 6 months, I didn't book a wedding. I don't have to waste the rest of my money. So like that was one of the things, like looking back on it, I'm like, I really just committed to a whole year. And with like, and they make it sound great. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we're the
They have
biggest,
to.
right? Like we're the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And like, we have this many people that come through our, like for me, Oklahoma, right? Like they have like this many people that come through our website. And however, I mean, like it did help. Like you said, you Googled me. So like,
Yeah.
if anything, that's probably the only thing that I benefited from.
It's almost, but at that point, it's almost like a website.
Exactly.
So
it's almost like a website,
yeah.
or I could have just ran a Google ad.
And, you know, I kind of brought up Facebook groups and stuff. Like, that's what's benefited me the most.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's free. Like, it's a no-brainer. So, like, when I started, this was 2021, I had no portfolio.
Yeah.
And I'll give a number just to, like, let the audience know, like, how possible it is when you're starting out. When you start out, you don't have to do a wedding for $500. Like, I somehow, some way, I was in the Facebook groups, like, you know, it was some Arkansas one, and someone was looking for a videographer, and I think for like 8 hours at that time, I was 1,100, which it really isn't a lot, but you know, with no portfolio, you know, but I was able to book an 8-hour wedding for 1,100 just from a Facebook group, like someone who was just looking for that. And you know, with the wedding wire and stuff, if it's just set up like a web, the thing is, I don't personally hear a lot of people that are going to the knot to look, like the bride and groom that are going on there to look for the vendor. I'm seeing, you know, these brides are wanting to go on the Facebook groups, and they want to hear from other people. They're not just necessarily trusting a site and stuff. And I'm not trying to like bog down the knot and stuff, but you know, I would also say that about other things like Yelp. And things like that. Yelp isn't really like for our space, but for like service-based companies, like other ones, they're using it and stuff, but it's kind of set up the same. Like they won't give you the pricing up front, and it sounds kind of good at first, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm spending so much money and don't have any leads, or at least quality leads and stuff. But what, like Facebook groups for me are something I highly recommend, but for you, what has worked for you? Marketing.
And honestly, I would say I would double down with Facebook groups. Getting started, I think I got started in videography in 2022. So like just right after you did. And that was a thing. I remember I shot my first wedding for free for a friend in Texas. But like, you know, I went to YouTube University. Like I probably had 100 hours in before I shot that first wedding. I had ordered, like we had just sold our house. I was like blessed enough to you know, I was able to start off with I think I started off with a Sony A7C, and then I had 2 ZV-E10s.
I know.
Quickly realized those aren't going to work, so I sold those and got my A7S III. But yeah, like I shot that first wedding, and then I had something to show people. But, I mean, like you made way more than I did starting off. Like I think I did a package for like $700. And
you do have to start somewhere. It's not necessarily. I'm not saying. Like if you're starting out, it's okay to do free work just to get something shown, but you know, don't do it 5 times. Because that's like, a lot of work.
After doing the one wedding, I'm like, I'm never doing this. Like, I think I did one for my friend for $200, but I'm like, that's it. Like I would never.
One thing you kind of hit on was like gear. So I think a lot of people think I need to get the most expensive camera. I need to get this, but you know, when you're starting out, you're on budget. For me, it was. I kind of bought the most affordable of each type, right? So I bought the most affordable camera body, lens. You need, like, really I only had one lens. It was just, you know, 24-70, you know, basic, whatever. But that lens can kind of get you through the day. But also, you know, I wasn't buying Rode mics. I wasn't buying Sennheiser. I was buying off-brand because at least they'll have audio. Like, I think instead of just like pouring in, trying to get the most expensive camera body that everybody knows, just have like a more affordable like diversification of your gear. Like make sure you have audio, make sure you have one good lens, camera body, tripod, and then you're set. You know? And like, you know, I struggled, and I think every wedding that you do, you should take some of the money and start investing it in the gear that could help you make the video better. So for me, I can remember it clearly when I was in a pretty good spot, and then I realized my receptions were looking terrible. And back then I thought, oh, if I just have a prime, I'm good. But like that's
Yeah, that's not
no. And so I was like, okay, I need to get some lights. I need to get some, I need to actually put some time, set up some lights during the reception. And that made it look better. I think every time you do a wedding video, you should think, what's one thing I can do that could make it better? And it may not be gear. It may just be like a certain way you're shooting it or something.
Definitely.
But what was your process like when you were looking for gear? Like, was it YouTube University?
It was YouTube.
Yeah.
Tons of YouTube. I actually saw like during COVID, we were like, obviously everybody was shut down. And at that time, me and my wife were living in Amarillo, Texas. And she just had a Canon T7i. So like, I remember I just took that camera and we just like went around the neighborhood and I just shot a video of her walking, you know, like that was like the first thing that kind of got me like, okay, this is cool. And then I was like, okay, so much editing. So this is expensive. But yeah, it's definitely YouTube. And, you know, that's also something you have to be wary about is that you'll go on YouTube and like everybody's opinion about what works best, you know, and I still go on YouTube and I hear everybody's opinion, you know, and some people who are like famous wedding videographers and every other year they have a new favorite camera. I'm like, okay, we know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was lucky to where, like I said, I was in a season to where we had just sold our home. They made a good Mount Alpha of it to where I was able to go and buy my A7S III, which is still my main camera today.
Yeah. And you know, back then it was even more expensive.
Oh,
now it's, you know, it's better.
You can find some cheaper options. Like, but yeah, back then, like it was like I paid the price for it.
Yeah.
But it's still my main camera today because it's a great camera.
Yeah.
And then I've updated, like I said, gotten lights, better audio equipment. Really learned that the creative person is the person. It's not the gear. Yeah. It's you. So
because you could have, you know, FX3, but if you don't know how to use it, does not
can't expose it.
Yeah.
Then you're just you know. Which I know I've had I had someone shoot a wedding for me, and I tried to teach them to use the gear correctly. Came back, everything was banded. I'm like, you have professional equipment. So like, if you don't know how to use the tool, you know, then
you show up to a shoot. If you have all these fancy cameras, stuff like that, people will think you're cool for a second. But then whenever they get their video back, they don't care about the gear. They could absolutely care less. Like, you know, as creative people, like we know more about gear. If we see something, we're going to notice it. We're going to think, oh, that's cool. But the client could care less. They could care less. Like they just want a good
as long
video.
as you don't show up with an iPhone.
Yeah.
Like at least have a camera.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't know any better.
Speaking of iPhone, wasn't really going to get into this, but I just kind of thought about this. But like in the wedding industry, like what is it like your experience? And I can talk about mine. Like the landscape of like, you know, wedding videos have been around for a bit, but like content creation is like
it's a new thing.
I wouldn't say I feel like sometimes people will choose content creation over a video. And so like, could you kind of talk to me about like how that's affected bookings?
I don't know if it's affected. I think I've only done a couple weddings where there was a content creator. I mean, obviously, like I'm biased. I don't think that if you're a couple, you watch this podcast. Like, I don't think you want to like replace your videographer with a content creator. Because right now, I don't think what young couples are thinking about. Like right now, it's cool. But a wedding film is timeless. And that's something that I care about. I'm like, I want to create you a wedding film. It doesn't matter how old you are, you're gonna remember every moment. So the audio, the tears, all those different things matter that you're not gonna find that in a content creation. Like it'd be cool for you for like the next 2-3 years, but you're gonna get to an age where you're like, man, I wish I had more. And so like it doesn't bother me. I'm all for it. Like I love it. Like, I wish I was
and cool if the couple is big on like and first off, I want to say we are not bogging down content creation.
Like, just don't replace the videographer. Have both,
exactly.
They provide two separate things.
Like
content creation, you get immediate gratification, like you get to see it sooner. But a wedding film takes time and intentionality that lasts forever. And it's
and another thing too, like it's just another. I think content creation, videography they almost get put into the same category, but they're not. They're not the same category. It's literally a whole different service. I'd honestly say that too with like Super 8. Like I've recently been getting into Super 8 because so like
I was like, man, that's cool.
So I feel like, I mean, it's almost interesting to even think because a long time ago, like a wedding film per se, like if our parents had a wedding film, it would have been on Super 8.
Yeah.
And then it went, we're at digital now. And so it's really fascinating to me, like what will just wedding creativity in the future look like in general? Because, AI, like, we're all, we've all thought about like what the heck is going on with AI, like what's going to happen next and stuff. But what I will say that I'll stick to is I don't think wedding photography, videography, content creation will ever go away because no one's going to want an AI generated image of themselves. Like that, like it's fake.
Yeah.
Like, when they're kissing, like for the first, like whenever the officiant, tells them to and stuff, like if it's AI, it's literally fake.
Yeah.
Like it's a fake moment. And people don't want that.
No.
I can't see them wanting that anyway.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like, and I think you really just have to know that, like, this is a big moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes us unique. It's like, I tell people all the time, and I'm pretty sure you probably say this too, that we capture time.
Yeah.
Like photography captures moments.
Yeah.
But we literally let you relive those moments, over and over again, which is why, like, my style for wedding videography, I call it simple cinematic.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of cool people that can do all these amazing edits and transitions, but I'm like, it's all cool until the end of the day, 2 years from now, it's no longer the trend. It's no longer cool. And I just want to watch my wedding film. And just remember what actually happened in the day. And I've added some of those things into it, but I haven't allowed it to like overtake, why I got into wedding videography was to tell stories.
Yeah.
And I think AI, you would lose all that.
Yeah.
It might be easier way to do it. And you might think, 'cause I've heard all these people thinking like you can just go, just tell people to like bring their phones and record and like you can just piece it all together yourself.
Yeah, no.
You don't want to do that.
No.
Hopefully for most of us, we get married once. So
100%.
Pay for the videographer. I promise you, it's worth it. 100 times out of 10.
And one thing that's really unique about you is that you're not only a videographer, but you kind of have two other hats. You're a pastor and you also have the coffee cart.
Yeah.
So walk with me through, for our audience, just like, how do you juggle like almost like three different, like, I guess, businesses while also managing time with your family?
Yeah. So it's definitely one is God, it's grace. And luckily, like, all those things are parts of me, it's to where like I was a barista years ago. So like my coffee knowledge was been instilled in me from then, but I've always had this entrepreneur spirit. I've always wanted to be a business owner, and so I remember actually I went to Onyx and at the HQ Rogers last year, and I've always wanted me and my wife always wanted to do something with coffee, and I was there and I just felt inspired. Honestly, I'm like, I've been here a couple of times already, but being there last year was like, okay, when we get home, we're going to do this thing. So launched the coffee cart. Like 3 weeks later, luckily I had a wedding videography business that was bringing in income that allowed me to start that. Start the coffee cart. So luckily, I don't have like I'm paying off anything.
So here's what I want the audience to hear what you just said, because here's what I heard. I heard that my creative business funded my next creative business, and that's huge because there's people out there. I was there. You were probably there. All of us have been there, where we think there's no way I can be a creative person and make a full-time career out of this. I have to go work for somebody. This is just a side hustle. But I want the audience to understand, like you just said, like when you did your video business, it literally funded another business. Yeah. Like that's huge. Definitely. Like, and I feel like it's the other way around where it's like my 9 to 5 is funding my, and that's awesome.
And that's great. How it starts.
Yeah.
It's like my 9 to 5 funded me starting wedding videography,
And that's how it happened for me.
And like, but you just have to have that mindset. Like if there's something that you're willing to chase, like you'll do whatever it takes. Like you'll learn, you'll study, you'll grow. So like with my coffee cart, I literally pray, oh my God, like if we're going to do this, I'm going to need your help. Yeah. So I'm like, one, for me, I always have to do it with God. Cause I'm like, if I can't, like if it's not going to work, I want to make sure that, I'm not trying to do it by myself. Yeah. But I did like a special to where I offered this super special package for 5 people. That was like, hey, if you pay this much of a deposit, I'm going to discount your package. Oh, okay. And I had like 5 people book it. And that's what I was looking for to pay for my things within 3 weeks of making the post. So for me, I'm like, okay, it's already funded to where I can start doing it. But balancing it, like luckily, like my wife has really come alongside of me of the coffee cart business to where she's helping a lot. So like all my social media stuff, she's been running it. I got her trained up to be a barista. And I'm really trying to build the coffee cart thing to where like I just handle like behind the scenes and hire people to go and be able to go work the carts for me. Because like I said, my number one focus is my mission, which is young students and ministry. I've been in ministry for 12 years. As a, serving in the next generation. So that's my number one priority. Yeah. But everything else, God has given me the ability to figure out how to do everything else.
Yeah. And you're going on a missions trip.
Yeah, and I'm going on a missions trip, my first one. Actually, funny story, me and my wife dated, we broke up early on because she was a missionary and wanted to live in Africa. And I was like, the only African that I'm going is the genes I have in my body. Like, that's it. Like, I can't live over there, but yeah. So finally I'm going on my first missions trip, which is super exciting. Got my first passport at 31. So I guess that's a thing too, but it's like I'm going to Hawaii after that. Yeah. But so it's definitely tricky, but I know what my priorities are. Yeah. And luckily with the coffee cart, it doesn't take up too much time, unless I have tons of events, however, which is why I'm already working on building teams of people that, I can train to go do things for me. And I can do like the booking and communicating with people. And I still love making coffee. So like, I'll still do them, but like, I've never been the kind of person that doesn't like, I love raising up other people. So I'm like, I'm going to train you to do this. So you can do it. So, but no, it's definitely a lot to juggle. Like I said, I'm a full-time youth pastor. So I'm at the church Sunday through who every day, really, going to sporting events, games. But also now some of my students have gained interest in videography. So I've been able to start training them, and I'm start taking some of them to weddings to be an assistant.
That's awesome.
And pay them. So my whole goal, which is why my coffee cart is called Together, is because I want to do life together, because we're better together. So literally my whole life is revolved around this one thought, is that I know I'm called to journey with other people and do life together. So everywhere I go, like I'm always trying to connect with people. Yeah. So whether it's wedding videography or coffee or student ministry, they're all still a part of the same root, and I'm just getting to express it in different ways. Yeah. So it's a lot to manage, but however, like my wife kind of stepping with the coffee cart definitely takes a lot of that weight off. And with videography, I'm slowing down actually on videography. I'm not stopping at all, but I got to the point to where like, I'm really okay with just people finding me and booking me for stuff, and I feel like we grinded so hard to a point to where now we can get referrals from people to where like, I don't have to like search for it anymore, so really just, that's been helpful to where like, and I only really need to do like 10 weddings a year. Yeah. That's all I want to do. Yeah. So I'm not even like stressed about it. Like I already have 8 on the calendar. So I'm like,
yeah. So like for me, it's been like, since weddings are like my main thing, I'm kind of looking, I think for me, really realistically, this year I've got like, I'm somewhere around 20-ish.
It's a lot.
I want to be, I know.
But you do this full time. So.
Yeah. And I want to be like the 20 to 30 range, which is like my bread and butter. Weddings are like my main thing. But then like, I cap it off around 25 to 30. And then my goal is to put a lot more effort into finding the corporate stuff. I've been kind of branching out more into like real estate, videography and stuff. Can you kind of talk with me? You kind of hit on it with the coffee cart. You're almost like you're hiring help, essentially. So one thing I'm currently struggling with, but I think I finally am getting a rhythm for it. What would you tell somebody who is wanting to scale their video business? It can apply for photo too. Like if you're doing everything, like you're wearing all the hats, how do you like stop wearing all the hats and just like be the CEO?
Yeah. I mean, I think you just have to, I think you have to put enough work into where you build something sustainable, right? Like to where you have a brand, people can trust you, but then also like, just find good people, and that's the hardest thing to do. It sounds easy, but it's just finding good people that, you can trust. And there's people out there, but you just got to find them, unfortunately, which is the difficult part. Yeah. But I think it really just starts with you. It starts with what you're willing to put in. Because even with coffee, like I have to train people. Yeah. Which means I'm like spending a lot of money training people who don't really know what they're doing. But I didn't hire them based off their skill set. I hired them based off their heart and based off their character. because I can't teach heart and character. You know, I can teach you how to make coffee. I can teach you how to hold a camera. I can teach you, you know, parallaxes and make sure your camera's focused and all these different things. I can't teach you to be a good person.
Yeah.
So I think first and foremost, like that's what I look for. Is like, so if you're trying to scale, look for good people who are interested in what you do,
Yeah.
who are willing to learn, who are willing to be coachable. Because also I played college basketball. So like that whole the mindset is like be coachable.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can be coachable, like I'm willing to invest in you because that's what I do. Like I'm going to invest in you. And it costs a lot. It's a lot of resources, but it's worth it, you know, if you find those right people.
You know, I think a really important thing too, coachable is very important. You know, my mindset kind of shifted a little bit where just growing up, I was very like mellow. I was just very like chill, down to earth. Like I just kind of ran with whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I pursued my passion and stuff, but really when I started working in the corporate world, my mindset, like, it's almost like I had an awakening. I was like, I'm not going to spend 40 years of my life or like waiting to get to 65 to retire.
Yeah.
And like right now, like if I work for a company, I mean, there are good companies out there, don't get me wrong, but they're kind of hard to find. Just like you said, it's hard to find good people. It's hard to find like a good full-time job with somebody. My mindset shifted to where I got just really like almost, I guess you can call it like a competitive nature, but not in a negative way, not where I was like after anybody, but almost like, I'm not going to be like everybody else. I'm not going to just like, you know, if you're out and about, right, you look at some of the things people have, not comparing yourself, comparing yourself like, I wish I had that, but shifting it to where like, I can get that. Yeah. Like having like that mentality where don't just like just really believe in yourself. Like it's totally obtainable.
Yeah. Don't just accept whatever.
I really truly believe though that if you work for yourself, it's almost more attainable because you literally control how much you want to make. Yeah. So when I started a year ago, I had probably like 2 months of work lined out. So I had a good cushion. Yeah. And literally like my mentality was I'm calling everybody. Yeah. Like I'm going to find any lead I can get. And that sounds scary, but if you think about it, if you're doing what we're doing, it doesn't feel like you're selling to people. Yeah. Like it actually feels like you're just talking with them about what you do and how you can better serve them. That goes for weddings. That goes for corporate. You know, at the end of the day with weddings, we're here we want for a wedding, we want their family, like as they get older, when they have kids, grandkids, we want them to like watch that video and be like, wow, my parents were so cool. Or you know, that's what my parents were like, or that's what my grandparents were like. I mean, imagine decades from now, like our generation, like when we're like seniors, like our grandkids watching our video and they actually know what we were like. Yeah. Because we don't have that. We have like a couple photographs, you know, but we don't know what they were like, the personality. And then for corporate, you know, for businesses, small businesses, our goal as creatives is to, we want to represent their brand well, but we also want that content to generate them revenue. Yeah. And so it doesn't, you know, because my problem was when I started out, I felt like I was selling to people, but it's like, you're not selling to people. Don't think of it like that. You're literally just talking about what you do. And like, if you don't like what you do, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Yeah. This isn't for you. But if you're, you know, passionate about being creative, when you go up to people trying to sell yourself, it's not selling. Yeah. Like you're just talking about what you're passionate about, and that's it. Like, and
if you know, steward those people that you work with well, they're going to sell you to other people.
Yeah.
And like I said, and like that's the benefit. Like you can control how well you do. Yeah. You know, and that's what makes it also fun. Because I'm like, if I need something, I'm able to go and work for it. You know, like, and I don't know if that's just me, but I just enjoy working.
Yeah. So. Yeah. 100%. And, you know, when you work for yourself, it's true. Like you don't stop. Like, I mean, you are putting in work, but I will tell you right now from my experience that I would say I only have one negative, and it is fixable. Yeah. Is balancing work and family. Oh, that's been the hardest thing for me. Cause I have a 6-month-old now. Yeah. So I'm trying to like, but that's the beauty of it, right? Because I own a business, I can be there whenever I need to be. Definitely. You know, I can make it to pediatrician appointments. You know, when he's older, I can make it to games and things like that. That's awesome. but you are putting in a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I think you were kind of hitting on, when you get in with some of these people, like if you are in the wedding industry, if you treat that couple like you're good to them,
Yeah.
they will refer you. If you work for a business and you do a good job for them and you treat them well, like you have that servant's heart, they will give you more work.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many families, like kids, I've done weddings for.
Yeah.
Like I've done multiple families where I've done both daughters, both sons, like just because I was good to people.
Yeah.
So, and just like you, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and, but that's also why I want to work so hard.
Yeah.
Just to give her the life that I want her to have.
Yeah.
And
I'm with you.
And I also don't want anyone else telling me like, this is how much you can make, or this is how much by working for someone else.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, like I'm going to do what I can do to make sure she's taken care of. And that's just like the real life part of it too. Like, it's my responsibility. So, and I enjoy that responsibility.
Yeah.
Because it like pushes me to be creative, pushes me not to like give up. And I don't get exhausted but then also with weddings, which is cool. If I go to a cool place, I'll just take my family with me.
Yeah.
And make it a vacation.
Yep.
So like that's also a cool way to, try to keep them involved. But whenever my daughter was born, I was like traveling all over the country filming weddings. Quickly, I stopped doing that because I hated being gone for her so long.
Yep.
Actually, the week she was born on a Wednesday, I believe. And then I was flying out to Michigan that weekend for a wedding.
It's funny you say that. So I didn't have the same exact scenario, but I remember it was like a month away from my son's due date. And but I've heard though, when you have the first baby usually takes longer to come in and stuff, like to be born. But I was also nervous because I'm like, am I going to be at this wedding and like my son's going to be born? But at the very least though, the wedding was local, so it was like down the road and stuff. So I was like, man, I do not want to miss my kid being born.
And she came a week early.
Oh, okay.
So she was a week early when she showed up, which I'm like, thank God, because I was going to Michigan. I'm pretty sure that next weekend I was in Chicago, and I'm like,
was she your first?
She's my only daughter.
Oh,
she's my first currently. So like that, you can't miss that one.
Yeah,
and I was talking to a pastor friend of mine. He was talking about how he almost missed his first kid's birth because he was somewhere preaching. But yeah, like it makes this journey of, because now I also now view my business as something I can give her. Like the coffee, I view like that's something I will give you one day.
Man, I can't remember the verse off the top of my head. But one thing that's elevated the way I view business is like, I want to say it's like in Psalms or Proverbs. It's somewhere in there, but it's important to build generational wealth. Yeah. Don't work in this business just for yourself. Work for the betterment of your family. And not only that, but bless the community you're in.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I think it's really crucial. And I've dealt with this, where I'm getting these gigs, I'm making good money, and it's almost like we all have the issue where almost money becomes an idol. And it's really important that when you're successful, for one, don't idolize the money.
Yeah.
Just focus in on like your craft and focus on your family. But it's just so crucial to be humble. Like when you get to that next step in your business, don't be boastful. Like people will notice that.
Oh yeah.
And we deal with that in our industry. Like we know that it can be hard sometimes because maybe they've been doing it for a long time and they're almost like a famous creative.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
And it's just so important to be humble. Like just take care of people.
100%. And like I said, I love giving back. Like I do all the video work at my church also. So full-time youth pastor. So like any like creative storytelling we do, like promo, stuff like that. Like I make sure I head that up because I know I have the storytelling eye, which, I learned as a side hustle for weddings that now I'm able to use for other people, and like even with, there's a lot of projects I've done where I've given huge discounts because of who I'm working with and, what their cause is for. So, and even with coffee, I'm able to do that, so that's for me, that is like trying to give back. Yeah. Like if there's a good cause, like I'm going to help.
I think if you have a certain area, right, that is on your heart. So like for me, foster care, things like that. Like after having my son, it's just like, it's just so hard for me to imagine like a kid not having a home.
Yeah.
Like it's hard on me.
Mhm.
And so I may not be there to necessarily like, be there for the kids, but I'm going to fund to help like the nonprofits locally to like be able to do. So what I'm trying to say is like, if you know, have your business and you can bless other communities, like whether it's like foster care or just some sort of charity, but it's on your heart, do it.
100%.
Like, and that looks different. You can do money. You could, you know, if you've got something creative you're good at, whether it's photography, content creation, all that stuff, you can give that back to them, because I'm telling you right now, like a lot of those places struggle to honestly, like, I mean, they can get like the donations and stuff that can fund that, but it's hard for them to know where to like go to like find the right person to shoot stuff for them, because they don't really know where to start and stuff. And so I think it's really important that the gifts we have as creative business owners, that we almost use those as giving back.
Yeah, especially if you're like a faith-based creative like we are.
Yeah.
You know, like we're called to do that. Like we're called to steward well, you know, and honestly, I believe that opens up more doors. Like I filmed weddings in places I should not have filmed weddings. Like I've given opportunity, like my coffee cart had not even been a year old. Like I got to an event for like Dick's Sporting Goods, and currently like working with some other big corporate people coming up soon. I'm like, I didn't open this door, you know? So like, it's really cool seeing like, you know, where your faith also matters into this, because it's hard too. It's hard work. There's going to be some months where you're like, I need to book a wedding. You know, like
100%.
You know, and you do.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm right there with you. Like, stay humble.
Yeah.
You know, like I still don't think I've done anything. You know, and I've been doing this for almost 4 years. But you know, I can look back and I'm like, wow, I filmed over 100 weddings. 100 people have like trusted me with these stories, and these memories, and then go back and look. I've made a lot of money doing it, and I'm like, and it's funny. I tell my wife every year, I'm like, this is how much I made this year. I don't even think about it. Like, I'm like, where does it go? But, you know, but it's just like, but it's been providing for my family, you know, and that's the best part. Other than, like, I enjoy it, but I like buying my wife gifts. You know, like, like I'm bad. Like I buy my daughter every time I see something that I think she'll like. I just buy it. I'm like, this is so bad. I have to stop doing this. Because there's this bin store in Claremore that I go to. I'm like, okay, she needs that. Like they had like all these Disney dresses, and like she's in a big dress up like stage. Bought all of them. Like, and she was so happy. But like I'm blessed to do that because, you know, it's been faithful in the craft. You know,
100%.
Actually care about what I do. So
As we kind of wrap up here, we want to thank you just for your experience and just being transparent. You know, that's what this podcast is all about, is we don't all have it figured out. Like we're just here learning off of each other, you know, how to get better and stuff. Yeah, Jesse, we are just so blessed to have had you on. Just thankful for your insight, the wedding industry and things like that. And so thank you, Jesse, and everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.